Today, I'm thinking about the patriarchy and my Aryan baby. Let me give you some context. My girlfriend and I have a son, and I love him. He's 2 years old, but the thing about our relationship is that he's not my biological son. His biological father happens to be a very tall, very white Aryan man. And as much love as I am giving my son and the fact that I'm raising him will not change the fact that when he grows up, he's probably not going to look like me. No, my boy's going to be an Aryan, which leads me to talk about the patriarchy. White men represent about 30% of America, and it's obvious that they hold way more than 30% of the positions of power in our country. And so you could say this is not ideal because obviously, you want everyone to feel and be equally represented. So that's why the patriarchy exists, and I can now unpack my reflections on the patriarchy more in the future. But what I want to talk about is this. Just because the patriarchy exists, does that mean that every white boy, every white child like mine, white boy like mine, is automatically given like a membership into this club? Because if you came to my 2-year-old son today and told him that he's part of the patriarchy, I would think that's hilarious. Because if the only thing he is potty training. If you came to my son, that joke didn't land, sorry. I'm cold. If you came to him when he's 6 or 10 or 15 and told him he's part of the patriarchy, I would be pissed. I would have a problem with you telling my son that he's part of the problem. Let's talk about race and identity for a second. I'm an Oriental. Surprise. When I was in middle school, probably like 12-ish, all my friends, most of them were white. I went to a few of them and I said, I'm thinking about bleaching my hair and wearing blue contacts, not because I want to be white or anything, just because I want to see if I'll fool anybody. Well, 12-year-old me is not fooling me now. It's pretty clear that I really just wanted to be white. And the reason is because America teaches people of color, you could say colored people, minorities, that we are less than white people. So it becomes a lifelong journey then to accept yourself for not being white. Now, I feel pretty damn good about myself now, and I'm not super concerned about it. But I will say that there are moments where I feel this animal instinct. So like I'll see like a beautiful woman out and she won't look at me, something like really dumb. And there's this animal flinch in me that says, oh, is that because I'm not white? And my point that I'm making is that these instincts get trained into us really young and they're really hard to train out. And even for someone as comfortable as me, feeling that means that, it's deep, it's common, and it's a problem. And so I think that our country is making great progress towards uplifting all people and acknowledging worth across the rainbow. But there's a problem. And I think the problem with our national dialogue right now is that we often mistake lifting people up, requiring, let me put it this way. Lifting people up does not require us to put white people or any other people down. And I feel like that's happening a lot. And I don't ever want somebody to tell my son that he's a part of the problem because he doesn't have to be. He can be a part of the goddamn solution. And I think that most of the monsters in our society are not inherently bad people. I think our society tends to make monsters. And I just wonder, why waste our love and energy making monsters when we could make heroes? So the reality is there's millions of white kids in America. And most of them have white parents. as a parent of a white child, of a white boy specifically, with respect to patriarchy, I feel this concern. And I would understand why any parent of a white boy would feel the same concern, that their son, their child, right now, innocent, beautiful child, is going to inherently be accused of being part of this problem. It leads me to feel like there's another problem, which is that any white parent, if any white parent were to hop in this frigid stream and say these things that I've just said in this video, they could easily be accused of being a white supremacist or part of the patriarchy or an enabler, part of the problem. When maybe they're really only guilty of trying to be a good parent. And so as somebody who isn't white but is a parent of a white child, I feel this responsibility to maybe say something for all of us, to say, hey, you know, my kid is beautiful and I love my child and I have no intention of raising somebody that is going to be a part of the problem. So don't anybody ever come and tell my son that he is a part of the patriarchy. I'm losing it. Whoa. I'm losing it here, folks. That's basically it. If this resonates with you, you know, feel free to share it. If you disagree with me or have an alternative perspective, feel free to comment. I'd love to read that. If you'd like to support me or compensate me for any of the value that you think that I bring, then there are links in the description, but no pressure whatsoever. Mostly, you know, my goal is to encourage empathy, encourage some critical thinking, and celebrate that education. Time to get out of this water. Love hard and live well, everybody. I'll maybe see you in the future.